I got a funny story actually about that, so we can get into it, but might as well start this thing
Yeah.
properly. Hello, all, and welcome to Approximately Factual, a relatively truthful podcast. I'm one of your hosts, as always, Justin, and joining me today is
Devin.
And Tiffany.
So we've been discussing the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and a funny story actually. When I was about, I want to say 8 or 9, right? Shortly after my parents' divorce finalized, I was living with my mom, and we've talked about old Netflix before. Um, we had Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the 1974 version, and my mom was wanting to watch it, but my mom's a scaredy cat, like love her to death, but she gets scared of her shadow.
Oh.
So her idea was, well, if I watch it with somebody, I'll be okay. And one of her friends ended up canceling on her. So she drug little old 9-year-old me out to watch it with her. Because if she's going to be scared, she's got to be scared with somebody.
And her child was somebody.
Yeah. So I was terrified the whole movie, like just sitting there quietly watching, jumping at every scene. Um, the real horror, though, was the fact that my uncle was living with us for about 3 or 4 months at that point, and he worked at a deer processing factory.
Oh.
It was season, right?
Oh.
Yep.
He walked in, the music,
no.
the music and everything was loud. Like, it's at like we're literally like 15 minutes from the end of the movie, and he walks around the corner and like, I'm not even lying, like, this couldn't have been a more perfect movie to walk in like this. He comes walking around the corner covered in a blood-stained apron,
Oh.
telling
No.
us that the shower doesn't wanna start.
Oh.
Me and mom freak out so much that we run outside, like, we get off the couch, we run through the front door and book it out into the yard, and Johnny Ray is, like, standing there confused as hell, like, what the actual shit just happened? And so he walks outside and like we're screaming and he turns on the light and he's like, "What's wrong with y'all dumbasses? It's me." And then we finally realized who it was. But yeah, that was like the most horrible timing ever to watch a movie, is watching a movie about a guy who worked at like a cow processing plant, like just meat processing, and his signature look is a big leather apron covered in blood. And then your uncle walks in while also wearing a big blood covered apron.
That's amazing.
Yeah. That
I
was
had
like,
a yeah.
I was just gonna say that right there was like one of the first times like I ever was like actually scared for my life over something, and it was just my own uncle. But my mom loves telling that story, and my uncle Johnny Ray was like, he's like, "Yeah, y'all were a bunch of idiots. You just took off running." Like, he still doesn't understand how scared we were
Did he
because it was
not
like
see the movie?
he didn't care. He had already
Oh.
seen it. So it was like,
Fair.
completely, he's like, he doesn't get scared at scary movies.
I was gonna say I had a similar experience where my friend and I'm staying at her house. My mom was gonna come and get me, and my mom gave me like a window of time. And I don't think I had a cell phone yet. So it's not like she could text me. And she didn't have a cell phone. So she just told me about what time she was going to be there, and I was like, "Okay." Well, my friend and I are sitting on the couch in the living room watching Criminal Minds. And it's this episode where this man is staying in his like trailer, that's where he lived, and there was like a knock on his door. He answers it, doesn't see anybody, and then like dude comes out of nowhere and like kills him.
Jeez.
Well, like the second that the door opened and you saw the person, there was a knock on our door, on my friend's door. Oh, we jumped out of our skin so bad. We're screaming. We were screaming bloody murder. And like her mom wasn't home, her sister wasn't home. So my mom got scared hearing us screaming and opens the door, scares us even more. And we're like, "Oh, it's my mom. It's my mom." And she was like, "I just heard you guys screaming and I got scared. Something happened." Like, we were just scaring each other, and mom looked and was like, "Oh, that episode of Criminal Minds. I see why you guys are screaming." We're like, "Yeah, you terrified us."
Damn.
It took a while.
Y'all ever accidentally watch a horror movie?
Yeah.
Like without knowing it was a horror movie?
Yeah.
What? No, I don't think I've
Okay.
ever. So, you remember back in the day you could record on VHS. Mostly everybody did it.
Oh my god, yes. Okay, now I
Yeah.
see.
Yeah. I was a young malleable fellow, just wanting to watch one of my movies, and this one was marked Mighty Joe Young. And as a kid,
Oh no.
one of my favorites is a classic. Mighty Joe Young was awesome. Big monkey, really clicked with my monkey brain.
Is that why you get anxious when I shake keys around you?
It might be.
Yeah, I didn't want anybody to know that, but
now I know.
Yeah. But so I popped this movie in thinking it's Mighty Joe Young, and it's like 8 or 9 at night, so it's getting dark. Parents have already laid down, my siblings are asleep. I'm just having a nice little late night movie sesh, as one does whenever they're 8 or 9 years old. And it gets into it, and I'm like, I don't remember Mighty Joe Young being like this. And like I keep on watching it and keep on watching it, and I don't know why I never shut it off, but I continued watching it and got all the way to the end, terrified, wrapped up in my blanket. My room's dark. I had my bed was a bunk bed taken apart, so my TV was where the bottom bunk should have been, and my bed was on top. Just stayed right there where I was, dark room, and eventually fell asleep. Woke up the next morning, and I took the movie to my mom. Was like, "Hey, this isn't Mighty Joe Young." And she looked at it, and she's like, "What was it?" And I popped it in for her. She's like, "Oh my god, it was Darkness Falls." I don't know if you guys ever watched that before.
No.
Terrible movie now. Like I went back and watched it now to see if it was just as scary, because horror movies really don't do it for me. Terrible movie. It's about a vengeful spirit that like takes over this town and poses as the Tooth Fairy, which is not a very good thing for an 8 or 9-year-old. But yeah, I accidentally watched a horror movie all the way through and didn't think to turn it off whenever it wasn't Mighty Joe Young. The whole time I was just waiting for the big monkey to come out, and I was scared the whole time.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, Darkness Falls, 10% on Rotten Tomato, 5 out of 10 on IMDb.
Yeah, I'm looking at it on IMDb right now. It looks interesting.
Yeah, it's an interesting movie. Little bit above my 8-year-old head. I did not understand what was going on, other than they weren't allowed to go into the dark or they would die. And I'm in the dark in my room, so
yeah,
I was ready to die.
I legitimately only know one person from this movie, and I've seen a lot of movies. It's Emily Browning.
Mm-hmm.
She's like the only one I recognize. I don't know. I'm sure there's other people that like have been side characters and stuff, but like
I don't think there was any memorable actresses. Their stars were Chaney Clee, Emma Ford, and Anthony Burroughs. Never heard of those names in my life.
Yeah, no. Emily Browning was the sister in the movie Legend, where Tom Hardy played two brothers.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, he's the one that she's the one that he steals the lemon sherbet from.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, legitimately, that's the only person I recognize at all.
Yeah.
So, very interesting.
I know none of those people.
Yeah. I mean, I know the guy that helped write it, James Vanderbilt. He made Zodiac, which was a very good movie. Or at least I thought it was. Not the Zodiac Killer. It's the one with Jake Gyllenhaal, Mark Ruffalo, and Robert Downey Jr.
Mm-hmm.
I like Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, I bet you do. Nah, what is it? I think that movie was kind of famous because when a who like one of the people who they suspected being the Zodiac killer died, he admitted to it or some shit. Like, and then a few years ago, they figured out who the Zodiac killer was.
Yeah, I thought we knew it was Ted Cruz. I saw that all over the internet, so it's obviously right, right?
Yeah, he ate my son.
Yeah, I love those memes.
I do too. Let me see. I could have swore we figured out who the Zodiac killer was.
I remember them announcing they knew, but I got so caught up in the memes that I don't actually remember who it was.
Yeah. So apparently, like the most recent thing is they said that it was this guy named Arthur Leigh Allen, who's actually in the film. He's played by a guy. He's played by John Carroll Lynch, who's like a very good actor. But what's really creepy is that like once they announced that, it came out that part of the movie they actually looked at the old interrogation stuff for the Zodiac killer, or rather they did that, or they interviewed the people themselves and just to ask them like how the shakedown process and everything was. And apparently, like the actual Zodiac killer gave advice on the movie.
Oh
So
my
it's like,
goodness.
yeah, he got to watch like his killings and stuff be, put on the silver screen, which I think
That's
that's like
insane.
that's really fucking creepy,
Yeah. Ugh.
right? I just read like this article about it, and I'm like, that's really creepy. I'll try to find it, see if I can. But I'll be honest, I don't like scary movies, mainly because I'm jumpy in general. But like
Yeah, you
if
are.
if they rely on strictly audio, like if it's a quiet scene and suddenly there's like metal clanging around, I'm going to jump just because of how I am as a human. I got that rat mentality. Loud noises, I jump a little.
Yeah.
Rat.
But like if that's the only thing they have going for their movie, it's like I'll just throw a wrench. Like I'm not in the mood to be scared by someone dropping a fucking pan in a quiet area. It's, I hate that about horror movies,
Yeah.
and very rarely does a horror movie scare me because of the actual creature or scary thing in it or like something they do. And so, I don't know, I get kind of annoyed by it. So
So you would like psychological thrillers.
more of those than anything. And even those, it's like I can figure those out really quickly, and that kind of ruins the whole movie for me. Cause like I can figure out what the twist is going to be really quick. Like not trying to toot my own horn or sound like a pretentious cunt, but like I I legitimately can watch a movie and within 20 minutes I know how it's going to end, and it pisses me off when I'm right.
Mm.
I like it when there's a good twist, as long as it's a good twist. If they do like some bullshit, you know, out of the third corner fucking random shit, and you're just like, how does that even make sense? If I have to set in question why someone did something because it doesn't make sense, it wasn't a good ending to me.
That's fair.
And I feel like I do that all the fucking time with horror movies.
It's been a while since a good horror movie has came out, like box office busting horror movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Just looking at like most recent horror movies, I just fucking I mean, shit, dude. Nothing. Morbius. I'm kidding.
You two are guys. Why would a guy that doesn't like horror movies that gets scared easily ask to go see a scary movie on a date? Because this has happened too many times in my life where a guy suggests a scary movie and I'm like, yeah, I'll go see that. We get there and they're terrified and they're like jumping and throwing the popcorn on me. And I'm like, if you didn't want to see this, you could have told me that. You chose the movie, my guy.
All right, think of it historically, right? Think of it. Every date night that you were shown from like the 50s, 60s, and 70s, the guy and the girl in the fucking poodle dress or the bell bottoms, they go watch a scary movie. She gets scared. She holds on to him. They get
Right.
close. That's why.
Right.
It's a fucking
Oh.
cliche that dumbasses believe in.
Yeah.
These dudes. One dude threw a whole popcorn bucket on me because he got scared. I was like,
Damn.
if you didn't want to see this, you could have chose something else.
No joke. It's like, damn, dog, if you're gonna be throwing load around like this, I don't want to continue the date.
I was just sitting there questioning, like, why did you choose this? It was The Forest,
Oh, is that the one with the
the
weird
Suicide
creepy thing?
Forest.
Oh no, never mind. What?
I haven't seen that one, but I know what you're talking about.
I saw it a couple times because my friends were really fascinated with it. And I got asked on a date by a guy and he suggested it. And I was like, yeah, I'll go see that. And it terrified him. And I was like, we could have seen literally anything, dude.
Yeah.
I just don't want to be covered in butter right now.
Covered in butter.
Damn.
Why do you say it like that?
Because he's a
Probably
child.
wants you covered in
He
butter.
is- No. Devin.
That was the ploy the whole time.
Devin,
Oh man, that's fucking.
you
funny.
say weird things.
I try.
You succeed.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at the like recent horror movies that I like, and boy, oh boy, is there hardly any. I really like the Blair Witch Project.
That is a good
Um,
one.
Yeah, that one was good. The Ritual was stupid as shit, but it had some like good actual. They actually like show you the monster thing, and it is fucking terrifying.
Trying to remember what movie I watched that I thought it was really good, and every time I told somebody to watch it, they were telling me I was insane.
I like The Thing. John Carpenter's The Thing, like the old one and the new one. Both of those are great.
Trying to remember that movie.
There was a movie about Bigfoot that I actually really liked, and it terrified me as a little kid.
Ritual that I was thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah, that one was creepy. Yeah,
Yeah,
at
it
the
was
end.
creepy in the best ways.
Yeah. There's a movie, 1972, called The Legend of Boggy Creek, and it's like it was terrifying, dude. They set it up as like an informational thing, and I watched the last couple times I've been scared of movies was when I was a child. Like we're talking 20 years ago. I watched it with my dad because we were on this like Bigfoot kick. It's like a docudrama horror style movie where it's like they they're interviewing residents of this town and stuff, and then like it then follows like this one family pretty closely with their day-to-day activities with like all this weird stuff starting to happen, and then the climax of the movie, like they get attacked by Bigfoot, and that shit
Oh.
terrified me. Like at one point the dude's like taking a leak and Bigfoot like reaches through the fucking like he slams his arm through the glass in the bathroom because it's like a trailer or some shit, and like how they have those like small windows above the toilet.
Yeah.
Yeah, he like slammed his arm through that and like tried to rip the guy through the fucking small window, and I was like, never again shall I take a piss while looking out a small window.
Bigfoot's wild for that one.
Damn.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing sacred.
I like your pee-pee.
I thought you were gonna say he grabbed him by it. I was like, oh.
No.
That's a whole different movie.
I was like, he would have been wrong for that one.
But yeah, that was like some of the last horror movies that I actually enjoyed were those. I guess I don't know. I think I'm more of a thriller type person. I can't do rom-coms really. I can't do comedy movies that are certain actors. Like I'm sorry, but if it's got Steve Carell, Will Ferrell, Jim Carrey, if it's got any of those guys, I'm not going to watch it. I can't stand them. I don't think they're funny at all.
I think they're funny in specific roles.
Maybe, yeah. Tucker and Dale. What is it?
Oh,
I have no clue.
I know what you're talking about. I
Tucker
can't think.
Tucker and Dale versus Evil or something?
Yeah. Where it's
Yeah,
like
Tucker
two
and Dale
hillbilly
versus-
dudes.
Yeah, it's so good. It's like Tucker and Dale versus Evil. It's like two good-spirited hillbilly guys and a bunch of like attractive young people come to where they're at, where they have this land at and stuff, and they just start dying these like horrible ways, and it makes it seem like they're like Texas Chainsaw Massacre type people, but in reality it's just like honest to God mistakes. And it's so funny. Like at one point this guy runs at one of them and he trips and falls into a wood chipper,
Yeah.
and all they see is like his friend like go over a hill and then blood splattered all over the place. And one of the guys is like, "Why do all these? I think they made a suicide pact. Why are they killing themselves on my land?" And it's just like it's really fucking funny. Like,
Yeah. I love that movie. That's one of my favorites.
yeah, and I like Friday. Friday's a good movie. The Big Lebowski, I love.
Classic.
Yeah, I can't do too much National Lampoon. I can really do Christmas Vacation, and that's about it.
I think Terrifier, it's supposed to be a horror movie, but I think it's one of the funniest movies in there. Just because
Yeah,
the way that guy acts, dude, he's hilarious.
yeah. What's your guys' like favorite movie? Or you can even give me like a couple.
Baby Driver.
Yeah.
I'd have to go with like the first Fast and Furious. I just got done watching that again from 2001, baby.
Yeah, I actually me and Alex watched the Fast and Furious movies, or at least we started to. I know we watched number one, and I think we may have started number two and not finished it.
Yeah,
I really miss when it was about street racing and not them launching tanks onto the moon and shit,
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
legitimately after the third one, I was kind of like, this is kind of ass. And even the fourth one was like pushing it for me. I was like, this is a little ridiculous, but I could kind of see it happening. But
right.
Edgar Wright is good. And then I believe it's Justin Lin for Fast and Furious, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, Justin Lin directed like the first few. What is it? He directed the first few. I don't know. I still think that like Wes Anderson's one of my favorite filmmakers. So
Hmm.
him, J.J. Abrams,
I like
George
J.J. Abrams.
Lucas. Yeah. So I think my favorite movie that's not part of a series is The Grand Budapest Hotel. I don't know. I just like how it looks, like the color choices, like the symmetry, which is very much the way that Wes Anderson makes movies. The story's fun. The actors are great. It's got a lot of really funny little bits in it. It's also got some bits where you're like, shit, I'm about to tear up.
Mm.
I love when a movie can make me cry.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Like,
I'd rather cry over a movie than what's going on in my life, so I'm fine with that.
yeah.
I don't like crying for me. I cry for cinema.
Yeah.
Man, I remember one of the first few movies that made me actually cry was Where the Red Fern Grows.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't watch it. I was warned not to, and I still haven't.
Whew. If you like dogs, that's a rough one.
Yeah, I think I'll pass.
That and Marley and Me.
I skipped that one as well.
I chose not to watch that one just because it was like all people talked about was, oh, you got to watch this. This movie's going to make you cry. And I'm just like, I'm sorry. That's not what I'm fucking watching a movie for.
Right.
Like,
Let me tell you about the time Andrew was like, Tiffany, do you want to go see this movie with me? And I was like, I know nothing about it. Sure, what is it? She said it's a rom-com, and I was like, okay. I was like chick flick, and she was like, yeah, it's like a chick flick. I'm like, okay, cool. We go and see 5 Feet Apart in the theater.
Mhm.
That's not cutesy rom-com chick flick. That's like sad. It's devastating. And so I'm sitting there and I'm just crying and I'm mad in this theater because I'm crying because Andrew told me we were going to see a funny, haha, girly movie. And it was not. It was emotional and it was making me cry. And I didn't have tissues because I was in a theater. I got out of there and I was like, what did you do to me? I was like, this was not a funny, haha, rom com. She goes, oh, well, it was still really good. And I was like, you could have been honest with me. I would have grabbed a pack of tissues before we went in. I was like, you got to warn someone.
I cried at some like weird movies, like definitely teared up at like Grave of Fireflies. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
I haven't.
Mm-mm.
That one I can't do, like, legitimately I can't do a movie when like a child dies.
Fair.
Like
Mm.
it immediately, like, I'm teared up. So Grave of Fireflies is a Studio Ghibli movie. It's about basically like the bombing of Japan.
Mm.
And
Oh.
it follows like this small boy and his littler sister as they're literally like they had to run from where they were
because of the bombs, and they're surviving. And I won't ruin it too much, but at one point something happens, and it legitimately, like, I had to pause the movie and I didn't finish it that night because I was like too torn up. Really, really got me. Oh man. I don't know. Like, I cried at Old Yeller, like legitimately.
Oh
Like
yeah.
the dog, it's like that hurt my heart so much.
I watched
Um
that too young.
yeah, same. Ah, dude, the Grave of Fireflies is just really sad. I cried the first time I ever saw Interstellar when you find out that that's like at the
Yeah.
end, the twist at the end. You guys have all both seen it, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Spoiler if you haven't watched it, skip the
Skip
next few
ahead.
seconds. Yeah. Now when he finds out that he's been gone so long and it's his daughter that's dying, like that shit fucked me up. I was like,
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yep.
And she still had that, like, that faith and drive of after all that time. That really fucked me up.
Oh yeah, that one got me good.
Yeah. Also, like Iron Giant at the end when he
Oh,
says like "You stay, I go." That shit. I was like,
yeah. My,
Yeah.
my little kid heart couldn't stand it.
yeah, I
No.
know. I've
Oh,
always.
dude. Bridge to Terabithia?
Okay, so yeah,
I
so
never
Bridge to
seen that one.
Terabithia was like it was rough, but like also, um, I was ruined by that movie, because I saw a meme about it before actually seeing the movie, and it was like a meme of like this chick running, jumping, and then cracking her head on a branch. And like they patched it in with like the scene from Bridge to Terabithia, and ever since then I kind of laugh at that spot, and it's hard for me to watch it without laughing.
I have not seen that. And when I watched it, I was kind of young. And so I was like, this is going to be a good movie. It has my future husband, Josh Hutcherson, in it. I was like, this is going to be nice. And then
Hell
I'm sitting
yeah.
there sobbing and I'm like, what happened? Why did nobody tell me? That hurt.
Yeah, I
And
I
like my
remember.
siblings knew.
Yeah,
They didn't tell
you're asshole
me.
for that. I cried at the Tigger movie when I was a little kid.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, he really is the only one. Like fucking,
Yeah.
like I was inconsolable for like a few hours after watching the Tigger movie. It confused the shit out of my mom because like I think that may have been like one of the first times I ever like broke down crying because of a movie. And I loved Winnie the Pooh as like a very young child.
Mm.
So she was like, I put on a Winnie the Pooh movie for him. And now he's bawling his eyes out. And I was like, he's the only one.
It was tough to watch as a kid.
It really was.
They had
Yeah.
no business making us cry like that.
Nah, for sure.
They made a lot of kids movies that were like above our head that scarred us probably.
Yeah, for sure. Like,
Like Land Before Time is one that pops in my
Oh,
head.
dude.
don't
Like-
even get me started on it, dude.
That was
I
above
love
my
that.
head, but tore me up as a kid.
Yeah, like I've rewatched Land Before Time like during high school, and I hadn't seen it since I was like a very young child. So it was like, a 10-year gap. And dude, I was like, why the fuck did they let us watch this? It's so fucking hard, bro. Why? They're literally making it so sad on purpose to make us fucking sad right now.
Right. What's another
sucks.
one? Fox and the Hound.
Oh, no, that one.
That one was rough.
Well, I'll be honest, Fox and the Hound was one of my favorite Disney movies. I had it, Balto, and Oliver and Company on
Oh,
a
yeah.
on a
Oh, yeah.
VHS that my grandma made, and I watched that thing all the time. I love it so much. She still has that VHS too. It's labeled mine, so like she doesn't use it for anyone else. All
Aw.
the other grandkids can get bent. That's mine.
One that actually just popped in my head that was another one of those movies that was a staple that was above my head. I didn't understand exactly what was going on, but still fucked me up. And fucks me up to this day is All Dogs Go to Heaven.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And recently I just found out the story behind that with Burt Reynolds and the little girl, Judith Barcy
Yeah.
or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Oh, golly. That
Yeah.
it tears me up now, man.
Kids movies when there's death and they show it type stuff is always sad. Like I don't think Bambi affected me as much because they never really. It was kind of like, oh, they got shot. I don't care. I'm fucking around with this rabbit now. Like,
Yeah.
it just completely transitions to something, and it's just like, oh, okay, cool.
Right.
I think that was kind of like preparing us for, yeah, you do got to keep moving after somebody dies.
Yeah.
But I think other movies were like, we're going to introduce you to emotions like grief and sorrow. Like, I'm 5. Why?
So they could have leaded us in just a little bit easier than
Yeah.
dropping it on us like that.
I'm also a sucker for like a really cutesy wedding movie. Like if they get married and stuff like that, I tear up, and like that's why I know I'm going to cry at my wedding, because like me and Alex were talking about stuff the other day. We are both talking about wedding things, and I was like starting to tear up. And she's like, "What's wrong?" I was like, I'm just thinking about it. I'm just thinking about it." I like had to like write myself because I'm like, I'm gonna cry.
Yeah.
How are
It'll
you
be
going to say
fun,
your vows?
in private.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, we're exchanging our vows in our first look privately so that we don't melt on the altar.
Yeah.
That's really cute.
I had a friend who got married recently, and we had to hold him up.
Yeah, no, I fully expect.
Talk about Chris.
Yeah,
Yeah. Those photos. Oh my God.
yeah, I
Talk
fully.
about ugly crying.
Yeah, dude, I'm finna be stupid ugly. I'm gonna have an extra handkerchief just to be able to hold that shit in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good cries every now and again are good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, music has like a profound touch on my life. So whenever I hear music that I really like it, even if it sounds like elevator music to Devin. Or or like old stuff too, like stuff I listened when I was a child, like anything by the Gaithers, or like gospel music and stuff that my grandmother and my great aunts and uncles used to listen to all the time, some of which are no longer with us. It just makes me tear up. Like thinking about like there's a song called Ain't No Grave Gonna Hold My Body Down by and Tommy Bates sings it. That song right there is another way to get me to cry, just because like I got to see him live with my grandma and my aunt Nina, and he sang that song on request because my aunt Nina spoke up, my grandma spoke up and asked him to sing that song because it was like my favorite that he sang as a small child. And like I can't listen to that song anymore. Like legitimately. I think too
Why am
much of my aunt
to
Nina.
cry?
Yeah, shit's rough, man. This is our sad podcast.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, dude. It's like the opposite of a beach episode. It's just
Yeah.
we're getting in our fucking feels right now.
Yeah. Hey, it's good for you every now and again.
Absolutely. A good cry is always good. Like
Yeah.
I don't understand people who are like, I haven't cried in so long. It's like, boy, when you actually do cry about something that deserves a cry, it's gonna be rough for you.
Ooh,
Yeah, I went off of one of my medications because I could barely cry. Like I would need to cry, and it would just build up until I was full mental breakdown.
Yeah.
And ever since I've got off that medicine, like I now cry way easier and freely, but that also means I'm crying at work whenever you're showing me cute stuff.
Yeah. That's something I also
Yeah.
try to do. Like when Alex writes me a really good love note for my lunch or something like that, I'm always like, oh, let me show Tiffany real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love crying at work. You gotta get paid to cry, you know?
Yeah, dude. Honestly, if I could cry like that at work, I would all the time. I don't even give a shit. Like I'm making money right now. It's like taking a shit at work. It's like, haha, I'm doing a human function and getting paid for it.
Right.
No, I struggled for a long time understanding like legitimate emotions. Like I knew of them, but I didn't understand like I guess the root cause of them or the way that they can affect you in different ways that like even you don't understand until you really start looking at yourself. And I did therapy for quite a while to try to figure out and understand that. And as soon as I did that, I'm like, yeah, I don't care. I'm no longer going to be the I haven't cried since 8th grade type dude. Those guys, I've been there before, and it's like they need help.
Yeah. I dated a guy that was the like I haven't cried since I was in high school, middle school thing.
Mhm.
And I wasn't even like meaning to, but I think I accidentally broke him. I helped him get in touch with his emotions. And then dude had to process so much stuff. And then I felt so bad because I was like, I don't think he was ready for this. And like dude woke me up one day. It was like he's calling me and he was like, I don't know why I'm crying right now. And I was like, well, explain to me when you started. He told me, I was like, Yeah, that's just one of those cries you're gonna get now that you open the floodgates.
Right.
He was like, "What have you done to me?" And I was like, "Oh no, it might be therapy time, bestie. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't mean to break your floodgate, but here we are."
Right.
So he ended up doing a little bit of therapy, getting some help, and he's now better for someone else.
Mm-hmm.
As one
Yeah.
does. I fix
You-
them up and send them on their way. I date rescues.
I do rescues. Jesus Christ. He's like Bob the Builder for fucking weird.
Your Hal
dudes.
broken.
Can we
Yeah.
fix it?
Yes, I can.
Oh man, that's fucking funny. Yeah, but I don't know. Use your fucking resources. Get help. Go to therapy. It's not stupid.
It's
Also-
pretty cool.
Don't be afraid to cry, pussies.
I think therapy is pretty cool.
Yeah, therapy is pretty nice.
Yeah.
It's also cool just to talk about some like really intimate, deep shit to someone that I mean, I know you're paying them to listen, but also like when you explain it to them and there's no like, oh, what are they going to think of me? It's like they
Yeah.
don't care. They're just here to help you figure out the problem. And like having that disconnect is so nice because then it's like you can really let out all your inner thoughts. And sometimes that's fun because it's like you haven't done that ever about this subject. And
Yep.
Right.
only in your inner mind. It also pays to have a really good therapist.
Yeah.
I've only done one session with my new one, and I'm a fan so far.
Yeah, he's dope.
I have to say, he clocked me so quick.
Yeah, he's very good at it.
Yeah. Oh.
I guess we should say like me and Tiffany actually have the same therapist I recommended.
Yeah, he referred me.
Yeah, referred is the word. Dude's really great. On and off for the last like 3 years.
I think I was crying at work over something. I said, I think I should go to therapy again. And you were like, here, I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you're filling out the application at work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Devin walks up. What's going on? I'm going back to therapy. He was like, what happened? I was like, I don't know.
Yeah. It's those like I don't know why I'm emotional moments where you're like, shit, I need to figure this out. And then you're sitting there and you're trying to think like, well, I don't know why I feel this way. And it's like, that's why you go to therapy.
Yeah, the
Right.
first time I went to therapy, they had to hand me a sheet on feelings words so I could figure out how I felt and why. Like it was just what I was calling bad, sad.
Yeah. When you only use like 5 emotions or even less, like when I originally went to therapy, I could really only identify with sad or mad.
Yeah.
And if I got too sad, I got mad, and so it was
Yep.
like this whole thing. And so it's like, yeah, learning emotions is fun. I knew of the other ones, I knew what they were, but it was like I didn't actually physically understand the weight of those.
Yeah, I was like, I used these in school when I had to do writing prompts. Doesn't
Yeah.
mean I understand it and know how to feel it. Now I'm pretty in tune.
Yeah, shit's fun.
Yeah. Yeah. We haven't talked to each other in a couple days.
Yeah, I know. I was about to say this one might be a little bit of a shorter episode, but do you guys have like anything that happened recently? Like anything in your notes within like the last week?
Oh, I think we were at work and somebody was like, is candy food?
Yeah, yeah.
I remember this conversation.
Yeah, I don't remember ever getting resolved though. I just know it's still in my notes.
Oh, yeah, I looked it up. Food, the definition of food is anything that brings nutrients to you. So if you can technically get any bit of nutrients from a candy, candy is food.
So if there's candies that don't give you any nutrients and it's technically not a food?
I mean, I guess if you're going based on simply the definition of a nutritious substance that people or animals eat or drink or that plants absorb in order to maintain life and grow. So, I mean, here's the thing, right? If a starving person hasn't had anything in their stomach and you give him like 3 Twix,
That's food.
it's food because he's going to get something from that. He's going to get sugar and carbs and all that junk into his body that his body is then going to utilize. So it's food at that point.
Huh.
But like I don't know how like I think candy's food, like legitimately. I think if we want to get super, super technical, we could find like little niches of what it is. It's like it's like beverage. Like people talk about beverages all the time and like, oh yeah, I really like people are like, oh yeah, I gotta have my cold beverages and they have water. And then I tell them that water isn't a beverage. And that
What?
really throws them through a loop. Yeah, water isn't a beverage.
Why?
Because the definition of beverage is literally a drink that is not water.
Oh.
Yeah.
Huh.
So then what is water? Just water?
Water's water. Yeah.
Do you ever just feel like life's a scam?
Sometimes, yeah.
Because what do you mean water is just water, but a beverage is anything but water?
I mean, legitimately, water is water, but it's not a beverage. It's not a cold, refreshing beverage. It's water.
Huh. Well, that
Unless you
kind of broke my
put a
brain.
lemon in your water, then it's lemon water. Now it's a
Now it's about.
beverage.
Oh my goodness.
I would still
He
be.
said,
I would. I would
Kind
still
of a
argue
gray
that it's
area.
not. Yeah. I mean, if you add sugar and a bunch of lemon to it, then yes, it becomes a beverage. It's at
'Cause
that
it's
point no longer
lemonade.
It's
water. It's
lemonade.
lemonade.
Right.
Yeah.
Huh.
Water is used in almost every drink that we drink.
For sure.
That being said, it by itself is not a beverage. It's also like alco pop. Like I call that, like I use that term a lot when talking, especially like when we're doing like parties and stuff like that. I'm like, you can bring anything, and I give like, you can bring beer, you can bring hard alcohol, you can bring alco pops, and then people always go, yeah, I have no idea what alco pop is, and it's quite literally what you think it is. It's a carbonated alcoholic beverage, usually low percentage. It's like wine coolers and canned mixed drinks, like a fucking Smirnoff Ice is an alco pop.
Why do you specify alcopop? Just because you can?
It's because it's what it is. Like my brain goes, like I'm listing off beer, alco pop, hard liquor. Like those are the three things. If I say just bring drinks, it gives the connotation that you should bring like Coca-Cola or something like that. When usually we have those covered. It's like bring your own food,
Oh.
bring alcoholic stuff, like bring a bottle of Bacardi, bring tequila, bring some beer, or bring alco pops, some hoopties, some Smirnoff, stuff like that.
Oh.
My brain just won't let me not refer to it as what it is. And I sure as hell ain't gonna say just bring some wine coolers, because then we're gonna get a whole bunch of those fucking Sea Breeze, Jamaican me horny or whatever they're called. Those
Happy.
things. Yeah, those two. Yeah, I drink enough of those, it changes. But like I can only drink so many of those in the Bahama Mamas before like my shirt comes off, and then I'm just walking around my gut hanging out.
Well,
Oh, we
there's
should have
worse
just
things.
we should have just loaded up on Bahama Mamas for the Bachelorette trip.
Yeah.
That would have been a different.
That's been a different trip.
You said, "Oh,
Now
for
we
one
know.
party, Justin, we need the fruity little Bahama Mamas."
Yeah,
Right.
dude. And then what really sucks is the day after too, because those absolutely put me in the ground because of how
Oh.
sugary they are.
Absolutely. Yep.
Just dead.
Yep.
So, people keep telling me I'm at the age where like my hangovers will be kicking in, and somehow like my hangovers aren't always. It's not always a hangover. Like sometimes I'm fine when I know I should not be fine, but my stomach is messed up regardless. I take one sip of a drink and like an alcoholic beverage, I'm done. My stomach is done for. It's going to be messed up for days. So in theory, I can handle like a hangover, but my stomach is just going to be mad at me for days.
The my brain completely stopped as soon as I said those words.
I heard it stop.
Yeah, there's like a full parking brake set right there.
It went.
Yeah, people always told me like, oh, one day it's gonna catch up to you, but like I stay hydrated. I don't hydrate enough as normal, like throughout the day. Like I might drink 2 or 3 things and none of them are water. But when I'm drinking, I like my brain subconsciously knows that I'm doing that. So like I eat all the ice. We get those PD light popsicles. I'll eat one of those, the worst thing I can do is wake up in the morning with a splitting headache and be sick to my stomach. So like I do whatever I can to not have that. And it hardly ever happens, to be honest. Like I feel like I don't drink enough to get hungover to the point where I'm really fucked up. Last time I did was when I went to this little local bar called Jay Clyde's, and I was with my sister, and we drank a lot. Like I was belligerently like nearing blackout drunk, and I woke up at like 3 in the morning and was just ooh.
Well, I feel like with age, you should start to get smarter about your drinking. I think the people who say that the hangovers are worse when you're old are people who still don't know how to drink properly.
Or it's people that are still drinking jungle juice at like 35. It's like you need to
Ugh.
stop. This isn't college anymore.
Right. Lower the sugar content. Have a couple waters throughout the night. Before you go to bed, pop a couple ibuprofen. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
I don't even have to pop the ibuprofens, like, because ibuprofen's gonna mess up my stomach too. So
Wow.
I'm trying
Yeah.
to do as little, like, as much damage control as I can to my stomach.
Yeah, everybody has their process. That's just mine.
Yeah. I also just like don't really drink until I can't anymore. Like once I feel like I've hit my limit, I'm like, all right, I'm done. You know, I'll wane myself off. I don't understand people who are like drink until they're blackout every single time.
Mm-hmm.
Blows me away. It's like something in that little wrinkly gray matter is fucked up.
Wrinkly gray matter.
And this is where we circle back around to therapy.
Yeah.
This is actually just a therapy podcast.
Yeah.
We lured you
It's
guys
just
in
us
with-
telling you to.
yeah, we're not actually good at it. We're just gonna tell you. Utilize your fucking resources. There's free shit everywhere.
Oh yeah.
There's a person I knew that they made the comment that they like hanging out with me when I'm drunk because I'm funny. And I just like stopped talking to them altogether. It's like, bitch, I'm funny all the time.
You are. Yeah.
Funny looking.
Yeah. Hey, yeah, you're funny smelling, bitch. Keep it up. Anyway. All right, we might as well wrap it up. This has been another episode of Approximately Factual. Again, I'm one of your hosts, Justin. And joining me today, as always, was
Devin.
Tiffany.
see you later, you crumb snatchers.
See you later,
Bye.
alligator. Nobody said in a wild crocodile? Wow. Okay.
I prefer alligators.
In a wild crocodile.